After the final game of the season, it's time for our final chat of the season with Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman. My name is Tom Vandervoort, and Troy, I want to look back at the Super Bowl through your eyes, especially the last 5 minutes of this ball game, intriguing as it was. Two catches really symbolized, or two plays symbolized this ball game to me. Obviously, Wes Welkers' drop, if you will, and Mario Manningham's catch at the end of the ball game. And I'd like you to break down both of those for us from your point of view. First, on the play to Welker. About 4 minutes to go in the game, he breaks open down the left, and Brady tries to get the ball. Looks like between the safety and the corner. How did you see that play unfold?
Well, there's a few things to consider there, Tom. First of all, that's a throw that Tom Brady has made a lot. Obviously, he's made it a lot to Wes Welker. He certainly has made it a lot to Rob Gronkowski. The seam route in the middle of the field, and there's a throw that either got away from Tom, or what happens sometimes is you see color as a quarterback. You see color by the safety, and you don't want to lead that throw up the middle of the field. And so the safe throw then is to either try to put it on him or put it a little bit behind him, because you can see the danger that comes from the outside in. Oftentimes as well, you have linemen in your face. You can't readily identify where the safety is. You know he's there somewhere. And so rather than risk a throw, by leading him again up the seam, you try to stick it on him, and that was a throw then that was a little bit behind. So I'm not trying to apologize, certainly for Tom Brady. I'm just saying that there are potentially some reasons as to why that throw was behind. It could simply be that he just made a bad throw. Having said that, that's a catch that we've seen Wes Welker make 1,000 times. And so, my guess is for those two guys, that Tom Brady sits there today and says, man, I wish I'd have been able to make a better throw for Wes, and he would have been able to make that catch. And then knowing Wes, he's sitting there right now saying, that's a catch that I should make, regardless of whether the throw was perfect or not. And it was one of those plays, I was at home watching it, that as soon as it was missed, I said to the friends that I had at my house, if they make that play, the game's over. I mean, New England, in my opinion, essentially wins the game if they're able to make that play. They don't. There's still a lot of other things that had to happen, but that was certainly a big moment in that game.
Absolutely, and then you had the feeling with 4 minutes to go, or less than 4 to go now, and Eli gets the ball back, and they've only got one timeout, but you had that feeling that this was Eli Manning time, and he made a hell of a throw himself, and Mario Manningham a hell of a catch. Break down that one for us.
Well, first of all, coverage would say that you don't make that throw. There was a safety over the top, working with Mario Manningham. But when you look at the play, it didn't look like Eli was initially wanting to go in that direction, that he was looking to go middle of the field or potentially, to his front side, the right side of the field. But because of pressure by the defensive line, it then forced him to move to his left. And as he moved to his left, then he sees Mario Manningham up the sideline with a chance to get a ball in there. And, I'm sure Bill Belichick is at home saying, we had the perfect coverage on and should have been able to defend that. Safety unable to get over the top and make a play on that, but it took a perfect throw and a perfect catch. And, I've been asked this week as to which was better. And I guess as a quarterback, I'd have to initially say the throw, because without the throw, you don't make the catch. But Mario Manningham, knowing that on that play, you're going to take a hit by the safety, and then also to have the corner, hitting his shoulder pads as he's making the play and still have the awareness to be able to put his feet in bounds. It was just a great play. And the first play like that, the first down in one of those situations is always the hardest to get. And for them to come out and have a gain like that right off the bat is really what set the tempo for the game-winning drive.
Absolutely, and a huge play, and it led, of course, to some of the strategy at the end of the game, and I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit, beginning with Belichick's challenge of that catch. Obviously, he didn't have a bunch of information when he had to decide whether or not to challenge it, but it seemed to me that having only 2 timeouts rather than 3 at the end of the game then forced him to allow them to take a touchdown, really, so he could get the ball back to Tom Brady. Just break down the strategy at the end of the game from your point of view.
Well, first of all, the objective at that moment is to stop the Giants from scoring, right? And so, when that play happened so early in that drive, from what I saw, there was an angle that was shown before the challenge was made that showed that Mario Manningham did, in fact, keep his feet in bounds, maintain possession going to the ground. Therefore, it was a reception. Having said that, we've all seen overturns on plays that we thought were conclusive, and we knew what the outcomes were. And so I don't necessarily fault Bill Belichick for challenging that play, recognizing, as we all did, that we're talking about it right now. That was a big play in the game. And if they're able to, when they go back and review that and see something there where there was movement of the ball, or maybe the foot wasn't quite in, or whatever it might be, I think it was a big enough play. He recognized that it was a big enough play that it was worth taking that risk.
Now, what did you think about taking the touchdown on Coughlin's part? I mean, they could have taken a knee and ensured that they could run the clock down. Instead, they took the touchdown, although Bradshaw seemed to be changing his mind at the last second. And what did you think about the fact that Belichick decided, look, I'd rather have Tom Brady with a minute to go and needing a touchdown than maybe, say, 20 seconds to go and needing a field goal?
What Belichick did is what he should have done. Because otherwise the Giants run out the clock and you have no chance whatsoever, and you're just hopeful then that the field goal is missed. Eli has come out and said that he was yelling at Ahmad Bradshaw after the handoff, go down, go down, go down. If you anticipated that, which I think you would have to anticipate that, why even hand the ball off? I think maybe you could just take a knee right there, and they could have run the clock down and then executed the field goal. However, all of those that have been in this business a long time, we've all seen something that just seems pretty simple, and execute the snap, the hold, the kick, win the game is not that easy, especially when you're talking about on the stage of a Super Bowl. And so, some coaches would say, hey, I don't want to put it in the kicker's hands. There's too much happening there. I want to score. But based on the way that Bradshaw got to the goal line, kind of hesitated, somewhere in there it was discussed. Whether he heard Eli after the snap or Eli said something to him in the huddle, it obviously was something that he was mindful of. He just failed to stop, and it certainly could have cost them the game. And you give the ball back to Tom Brady with that much time on the clock, he's got a chance to win the game, and we saw it. He had one last shot into the end zone, and that ball very easily could have been caught.
Yeah, it was close to being caught. Definitely hearts in the throats of Giants fans at that moment. And you have headed into the offseason, Troy, as a champion. You've done it 3 times now. The Giants and Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin get to head into the offseason as champions. Just tell us what that's like, and when do the competitive juices start to flow again and you start to think about trying to go ahead and get another one?
Well, I think these guys, it's been a long year for them. I mean, for those that didn't make the playoffs, this is a team that played 5 more weeks of football compared to those that didn't make the playoffs. So these players and coaches will get away and try to relax as best they can. I know for the staff and personnel people, they've got to get right in there and start preparing for the draft and the combine and all the things that go with that. And then when these players return for some of the mini camps following the draft, that's when they'll get back into the start of next year just like any other season. And there's a lot of things for them to enjoy during this time. I mean, and they should. Everyone is too quick to start talking about next year, and the media and the fans want to talk about repeats and things of that nature. It's important, having been through it, for these players to enjoy the offseason and kind of recharge their batteries, so to speak, and get ready for next year and see whether or not they are able to repeat. I've always said that quarterbacks, when they come back after having won a Super Bowl, there's a lot of positive things that come with that, and there's a lot of confidence then when you start the following season. And we've seen it a number of times. Those quarterbacks usually come back and start the seasons off very, very well. I would expect the same thing again this next year for Eli.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Eli started the year off, obviously, with that statement about being an elite quarterback. He certainly did back it up. But, hey, listen, man, I want to thank you for all your time this year. It's been fantastic, great insight, and we'll recharge our batteries, and hopefully we can start up again in the fall here.
Tom, I enjoyed it. I look forward to next year, and I know all the fans out there do as well. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. See ya.